What can $1,000 really buy you today? Maybe it is a new smartphone, a few high-end designer pieces, or just 2 weeks of rent in a decent city. Most people look at $1,000 and see a small amount of money that disappears as quickly as it arrives. But here is the shocking truth for 2025. If you have $1,000 sitting in a dedicated emergency fund right now, you are not just average. You have officially entered the financial elite. According to the latest data from 2025, 59% of Americans cannot afford an unexpected $1,000 emergency from their savings. That means more than 130 million people are living exactly one car repair or one medical bill away from a total financial collapse. If you are part of the 41% who actually has that cash ready, you are standing on solid ground while more than half the country is walking on thin ice. In the next 10 minutes, I am going to show you why this $1,000 is the most important line of defense you will ever build. We will look at why the middle class is struggling more than ever in 2025 and how you can use this small shield to trigger a massive explosion in your long-term wealth. Let us start with the reality of why we are living so close to the edge. It is no secret that the cost of living has become a heavy burden for almost every household. In 2025, we are seeing a strange paradox in the United States economy. While the national debt has surged past $38 trillion, the average family feels like they are running out of air. A recent study found that one-fourth of American households are now living paycheck to paycheck, spending nearly 95% of their income on basic necessities like food, gas, and housing. When your entire life is consumed by just surviving, saving for a rainy day feels like a luxury you cannot afford. But the rainy day is not just a possibility anymore. It is a statistical certainty. Last year alone, 6 out of 10 people faced an expense they did not plan for. It could be a broken alternator in the car, a leaking roof, or a sudden trip to the urgent care clinic. Without that $1,000 cushion, these families are forced to turn to credit cards with 25% interest rates. And that is how the trap closes. A $1,000 emergency suddenly becomes a $2,000 debt after interest, keeping you stuck in a cycle of poverty for years. This is what we call financial fragility. It is the silent stress that keeps you awake at night, wondering what will happen if the next phone call is bad news. Now let us look at a surprising shift happening across the generations. You might think that older Americans with decades of work experience would be the most prepared. However, 2025 data shows that Gen Z, the youngest generation, is actually becoming more aggressive about their savings habits than many Gen Xers and baby boomers. While 55% of Gen Z feels optimistic about their financial future, many people between the ages of 45 and 60 are feeling the most pressure. This group is often referred to as the sandwich generation. They are trying to support their adult children who are struggling with student loans, while also caring for aging parents who may not have enough for healthcare. Because of this, their own emergency funds are often the first thing to be sacrificed. But there is an interesting reason why younger people are doing better. They are learning from the sovereign debt crisis and the constant inflation news on social platforms. They have realized that the old advice of just work hard and everything will be fine no longer applies in a world where the currency loses value every year. They are treating their $1,000 emergency fund not as a suggestion, but as a survival requirement. So why is $1,000 the magic number? In the world of psychology, $1,000 is what we call a tipping point. When you have $0, you feel like a victim of life. You are always waiting for the other shoe to drop. But the moment you hit that $1,000 mark, something in your brain shifts. You start to feel like a manager of your life rather than a spectator. This small amount of money acts as a psychological shield. It gives you the power to say no. It means that when the boss threatens to cut your hours, you don't panic. It means that when the car makes a strange noise, it is merely an inconvenience, not a life-altering disaster. Having this cash creates a calm that allows you to make better long-term decisions. When you are stressed and broke, you make impulsive choices. You buy things to feel better, or you ignore bills because they are too painful to look at. But once you have that shield, you start thinking about the next step. So how do you actually build this shield in 2025 when everything is so expensive? The answer is not a secret, but it requires a change in strategy. we have to look at what we call discretionary spending. More than half of United States adults have committed to spending less on travel, dining out, and entertainment this year. They are realizing that a $12 fast food combo meal is no longer a cheap option. In fact, fast food prices have risen so much that they now rival the cost of a home-cooked healthy meal. By cutting out just a few of these leakages in your budget, you can find the $120 a month needed to reach your goal. Think about this. If you save just $4 a day, which is less than the cost of a large coffee, you will have your $1,000 shield in less than 9 months. And here is where the magic really happens. Once that $1,000 is sitting there, you don't just stop. You have proven to yourself that you are disciplined. You have proven that you can beat the statistics. Now you start to look at the wealth curve. Most Americans reach retirement with a median savings of about $185,000. That might sound like a lot, but it only produces about $600 a month in safe income. However, if you can take that same discipline you used to save $1,000 and apply it to a simple index fund, the numbers explode. A person who invests $500 a month from age 30 to 65 could end up with over $1.5 million. The hardest part of that journey is not the millionth dollar. It is the first thousand. It is the moment you decide that you will no longer be part of the 59% who are at the mercy of luck. As we move further into 2025, the divide between the savers and the spenders is growing wider. The national debt and inflation are like a tide that is slowly rising. If you are standing on the sand with zero savings, you will eventually be swept away. But if you build your shield, you are building a platform that keeps your head above water. I want you to take a look at your own accounts today. If you don't have that $1,000 yet, do not feel ashamed. Remember that you have millions of people standing right there with you. But do not stay there. Make it your number one goal for 2025 to join the elite 40%. Cut the unnecessary subscriptions. Skip the expensive takeout. Look at your debt as a fire that needs to be put out. Once you have that $1,000 shield, you will breathe a different kind of air. You will have the confidence to look at the future, not with fear, but with a plan. Financial freedom does not start with a lottery win or a massive inheritance. It starts with the small, boring, and disciplined act of protecting your first $1,000. You have the power to change your position in the economy. You have the power to move from the majority who are struggling to the minority who are secure. Start today, build your shield, and watch how your life changes when you finally have the upper hand. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the elite group of savers very soon. Please share your thoughts in the comments. What is the biggest obstacle keeping you from your first $1,000? Let us help each other build a more secure future together.